Hello and welcome to our Monday live broadcast. And thank you if you're jumping on our rebroadcast as well. I always like to ask that you please take a second to subscribe to the YouTube channel or hit that like button on my Facebook page so that I will be able to notify you when we go live and or upload new content to our platform. I also like to ask that when you jump on either in the live or the rebroadcast, please leave me a message and let me know that you were here. It is the only way that you and I can start establishing a relationship, and I like to do that through the comment section where we open up some dialogue amongst each other. So welcome. I also ask that you please introduce yourself so I'll know who I'm talking to when you leave a comment as well. My name is Diane, and for the past 25 years, I have been helping women find nutrition plans and fitness programs to help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. And I'm doing that here in this community through the practice of intermittent fasting and living a keto-like lifestyle. Today, we are going to be talking about the estrogen that we are consuming daily through our environment. And if you are in one of my online courses, you know we talk a lot about the things that we are consuming in our environment that doesn't necessarily come in the form of food, but it really can be the things that are being topically applied to our body, things that we're breathing in, or just some environmental factors that we are exposed to. And by no means is this topic today meant to I don't know, sway anybody from doing what they're doing, but I really want us to start thinking about some of the very common practices that we have in and about our day. And if we were to just pay a little bit more attention to some of our environmental factors or some of the things that we're bringing in to our daily feasting, whether that be topically ingesting it or just environmentally, could we actually have an overall improvement in our health? And so what I would like to do is just talk about some of these estrogens that we are consuming daily and how we are being exposed to them. So there's two types I want to talk about today, the xenoestrogens and the phytoestrogens. So xenoestrogens are foreign estrogens, and xeno means foreign. So they're estrogens that are, outside of us, and they're being brought in through more of a chemical means. And then phytoestrogens, phyto meaning plant, those are plant estrogens. So those are going to be more the things that we're actually going to be consuming in our everyday life. So both of these things, xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens, do mimic estrogen inside of our body and can be problematic for some of us. They actually mimic the action of estrogen in our cells and can alter our hormonal activity. So if you are getting too many of one or both of those things and your body cannot metabolize them, that's when we can really find ourselves in a state of hormonal imbalance, and for some could actually lead down the road to disease, most specifically cancer type situations. So it's something that I think we should really start taking seriously, and something that we should really keep our eye open for once we have the information. So I'm going to suggest that you all do some further research. We talked about this on Friday, the GTS acronym that we have in our family. So just Google some stuff on the internet and see what you can find, and see maybe some of the areas in your life where you can make some very easy adjustments and eliminate some of these either xeno or phytonutrients that you think might be causing you some problems in your everyday life. So if you're dealing with situations like estrogen dominance, thyroid problems, you are suffering from extreme peri or menopausal type side effects, you suffer from PMS that you think might be something that is over and above what is normal, and actually any real suffering through any sort of menstrual cycle or even perimenopause is not supposed to be what we as a society are going through today as women. The effects and the signs and signals of PMS and perimenopause are really caused by some of this imbalance that we have created in our system, sometimes unknowingly, just because of some of these environmental factors. women with uterine fibroid tumors, fibrocystic breasts, glandular dysfunction, hair loss, weight gain, or depression should also be very aware of some of these extra estrogens getting in their system. And I know, I mean, there's very few women that I don't know of in my little aging community who are not suffering from unhappy weight gain and or some levels of depressive state or even just fatigue. And I think some of these issues can really be, and I know for a fact when you go through the course and you really start identifying some problematic foods in your everyday life, and you allow your body to really metabolize what you have stored up, we really are seeing some relief from some of these things. So if you're suffering from those things, which most women are who are not aware of where some of these environmental factors are coming in, I think you might find some relief. So why should we be so concerned about these environmental factors? Well, I already talked about the fact that if our body gets too backed up with these estrogens that are not normal for us, that could lead us down a road where we start to become broken down and sick. Things like hormonal imbalance, which we now know that weight gain that is that you don't have the ability to actually lose is caused by hormonal imbalance. And we now know that calories in and calories out and exercise and all those things really aren't the factors that we should consider when we're trying to lose weight. And it really should be a focus on hormonal balance. It's really difficult to get into hormonal balance when you have all of these extra hormones coming into your system that you're not considering. So this is what I want today's topic of conversation to really do, is have you consider some areas where some of these extra estrogens might be slipping, through the cracks and entering into your life. Some of the other problematic areas of these extra estrogens are early onset puberty. So I know I have heard stories of my girlfriends and their daughters who, are going through puberty at the age of 8 and 9, which to me, it's like, man, we can barely get our kids to like brush their teeth before they go to bed. How are we going to get these young 8-year-olds to manage a menstrual cycle? And a lot of what we're finding out now through studies is that it is the result of all of these extra estrogens, usually phytoestrogens that we're finding in our food. Abnormal growth of mammary tissues, and then lower libido in men, and impotency is also, those are also causes of having some hormonal imbalance caused by extra estrogens that are in our environment and ending up in our systems. So what are some of the largest sources or culprits, I guess, of the xenoestrogens? Xenoestrogens are largely byproducts of plastics and pesticides. So we know about, a lot of the pesticides that we are finding now in our foods. They're not only found in our vegetables and fruits, which seem like a common thing, but they're also found in meats as well, because of the area in which some of these animals are living are also being covered with pesticides as well. And then the plastics are a huge problem with creating these xenoestrogens. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but water bottles are a big problem with having these extra estrogens now that are being seeped into the water. Not so much just because of the plastic, but what happens to plastic when it is in a heated up condition. And since we have no idea what happens from a water bottle when it leaves the water bottle plant to it ending up in our own home, and we don't know how much time it sat on a dock sitting out in the sun, or what happened in the transport from point A to point B. And a lot of times what's happening is these plastic byproducts are breaking down and then just seeping into the water that we're drinking, which seems so innocent, but can be so problematic if we are regularly drinking water from a plastic bottle type of situation. So we in our family love to drink water from glass bottles, and that's one of the main reasons why we do so. And studies are showing that water from a glass bottle just has less incidence of estrogen seeping into that water system. So that's a big product right there, and that should be an easy fix. Utilizing, reusable, like what we talk about, the insulated water bottles. Those are pretty popular, say, with Swell and some of those other companies that are out there. And anything where you're going to have food in or something that you're going to ingest in a plastic something or other. So even plastic food storage systems, wrapping things in plastic, microwaving in plastic, we now know that those are all probable causes for plastic to break down, and those xenoestrogens just seeping into the food that then we are going to unknowingly consume, and then we get those estrogens in our system. So if you can, get rid of any plastics in your home. I know we went to an all glass system in our house, got rid of everything that was plastic, and we only store food inside of glass containers now. Dry cleaning is a xenoestrogen byproduct as well. Bleaching of feminine hygiene products is also very problematic. Try to find organic if you can. And then plastic, I already talked about the plastic containers and water bottles. So these byproducts accumulate in our fatty tissues, and our liver does not have the ability to metabolize or flush them out of our system. So all these xenoestrogens sit in our fatty tissues, and they just become a problem. We talk about that a lot with intermittent fasting, and why intermittent fasting is such a great thing for our body, because it does allow all of these backups and buildups to just get eaten away and get just relieved out of our body. So it is a great way to detox some of these estrogens as well, which is probably why so many women are becoming very hormonally balanced through the practice of intermittent fasting. It is a way to get rid of all of that and just kind of sift out your fatty tissues, and really let your liver detox as well. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens is that area where a lot of people either have, I'm an all in or all out, and there's not a lot of gray area to discuss things. I know there are a lot of women who swear that soy is just fine, that it's, you know, if it's non-GMO and yada, 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 it's great. And I would say in some situations that's probably true, and if you read the studies, you know, they usually do studies with things like soy with women in Asia and women in the United States. And we know now through enough studies and enough research that's going on that women who live in Asia have very little health problems that you can correlate to the same Asian woman who moved to the United States and started eating the US version of whatever she was eating in Asia. So you can take a person out of their country of origin, like Asia, or continent, I guess, and you can move them to the United States, and their health will change with their move because the quality of food is so different. So just because soy in Asia or Asian women don't have breast cancer incidence like women in the US do doesn't necessarily mean that soy is safe. It just means that if you want safe products, sometimes you have to understand where those safe products are being studied and where they're coming from. So in my opinion, and from the research that I have done, the soy that we have here in the United States is not the best, and that it is problematic for a lot of women. How do you know if it's problematic for you? If you take all soy out of your system and you put soy back in and you feel something that doesn't seem right, then that is usually an indication that it is not a good thing for you. If you don't feel any difference when you take soy out and you put it back in, then you might not be a person that is responding to that, or that phytoestrogen might not be causing a reaction in your body. So I think it is one of those things that's good to test out. Take it out, add it back in, see how you feel. You might be one of the people that are fine with soy. One of the reasons why soy is so popular for so many people is because we have that whole, I have to have X amount of protein in our diet. So if you're choosing not to eat meat, soy would be the natural thing to go to add in more protein. We also know now that we don't need as much protein as we need, that we thought we needed to have. So there's plenty of other resources that you can get on the vegan side of things that doesn't necessarily have to be consuming more soy or any soy at all. So make sure you're doing your research. If you want to eliminate meat, but you feel like you want to add in some protein, research a lot of other vegan options, and I think you'll be surprised there's a lot more out there than there used to be. So phytoestrogens act as estrogen in the body. They can have the same effect or block estrogen's effect. So not only can they like increase the estrogen that you have in your body, but they can also block estrogen. And again, that's where the hormonal imbalances are coming into play with a lot of women, especially as your body is naturally making its own hormonal changes. If you are a person who suffers from estrogen dominance, it is highly, highly recommended that you stay away from all phytoestrogens, because it's just going to make your problem with estrogen dominance a worse situation for you. Especially women who are suffering from thyroid imbalances or conditions, it is highly recommended that you also stay away from any kind of phytoestrogens as well. It'll just make your situation even worse. Okay, so we've talked about xenoestrogens. Those are like plastic and pesticide byproducts. We've talked about phytoestrogens, which are the plant-based estrogens. But we also want to talk a little bit about our water system and what is going on in your local city's water supply. We know that there are a lot of women who are taking birth control type of pills, or therapy, I guess would be the better way to say it. And there are a lot of women now on hormone replacement therapy, so HRTs. Those extra hormones are excreted from our body through urine, and that goes into our water supply. And I know when you talk about it in that order, it seems disgusting, but that's just the way the water supply system works. There are a lot of studies being done, and we have first-hand experience of this from stories that we've heard from Michael's brother, who worked in a water filtration system, where there are now many, many incidents of fish that are transgender, was the way it was described in the article and the research that I was done. And there are male fish with female reproductive organs. There are many more female fish in the fish supply system than there are male fish, and a lot of it is coming back to the estrogen that is in our water supply. So the best thing that you can do if you're concerned about the estrogen levels that it might be in the water that you're drinking in your own home would be to just Google your water supply company. They are required to publicly post their water analysis, and you can kind of see where your levels are in your city. Another reason why we have gone from drinking our water as much as possible at home was for that reason. And I have to say that once we got onto bottled water, everyone in our family started to feel better, especially me, who seemed to have the biggest problem with hormonal imbalance when I started going through perimenopause. So I definitely think it's one of those things that you should research, and then you have to make some really thought out decisions about how you're going to live your life. And I know even for us, we've looked into the reverse osmosis, which is the only way that you can get pharmaceuticals out of your water supply that's coming through your home. Filters on your refrigerator won't do it. Filters on your sink won't do it. You have to have that reverse osmosis system to get pharmaceuticals out of your water supply. So we've thought about it in our home. It's a really expensive system, and for now it's just not something that we are willing to do. We are willing to invest in some better water being delivered to our home through water bottle drinking, and for us right now that's a comfortable way to do things. We've also gone through everything in our home and have eliminated as many of the xenoestrogen type of products in our home to make sure that we are not adding in that extra little bit. So we got rid of our plastics. We just literally made a decision and just took them all and we threw them away, and we purchased some glass containers, which, it's a one-time purchase. They last pretty much forever unless you drop and break them. And so it was a good investment. We've gotten rid of all soy products in our home, whether we use them topically, in shampoo, lotions, deodorants, any of those kind of things. They are all gone. And everything now that we are putting on our body is soy-free. We've also gotten rid of air fresheners, carpet cleaning, scenty things that you powder on your floor. A lot of the cleaning things that we have are now soy free. We don't burn candles in our home. If we have any candle in our home, we have researched it and it is actually soy free. So a lot of those things are really simple things that we don't think about, but are a really easy switch out that aren't going to cause a huge disrupt in your family. Literally, you empty something out or you consume the end of something, and when you go to replace it, you just look for an alternative that doesn't have soy in it. And then the bigger things, like maybe a reverse osmosis system in your home for your water, can be one of those things that you can figure out if you can budget it in and if it's worth it to you or not. Or can you just drink, more glass bottle, or completely avoid plastic bottles at all costs. Watching how much food you purchase that is containerized in plastic. Go to a place like a Sprout or a Whole Foods where you can get loose fruits and vegetables as opposed to like a Trader Joe's. And I'm a Trader Joe's fan, so I'm not knocking Trader Joe's, but oftentimes their food, their fresh food is convenienced. So it's put in plastic containers. And again, we don't know how long that food item has sat in a plastic container from where it was originally to where it got to us. And was there heat exposure, or was it just a time breakdown thing? And can now those really, conveniently packed Roma tomatoes now be exposed to some phytoestrogens that we are not aware of? So just thinking along those lines can just be enough of those small tweaks and small changes over a period of time that can really help reduce your exposure to those extra estrogens that you're not really wanting to have in your system. Making sure that when you purchase meat, that you know where it is sourced from, that you know that it is the animals are raised in a way where they're not exposed to pesticides, or there's no added hormones and or antibiotics pumped into those animals. So grass-fed, grass-finished beef is great. We talk a lot here about Butcher Box, and that's where we have gone with our meat sourcing. If you guys want a link to where we get ours from, I can totally give that to you guys. And just making those very subtle changes over time have really helped our family feel a lot healthier. And I know for my daughter, she's almost 13, and in our opinion, she's maturing and going through that puberty process very naturally. And so that is a big concern of ours as well. We want to make sure that we're not setting our kids up for things that they have to experience that maybe they weren't, that they didn't have to, just by making some changes in your home. So deodorants are a big culprit. Make sure you're reading those ingredients labels. Remember, you're putting deodorant right here, which is right next to some lymph nodes. You want to make sure you're not putting any soy in that area. That is a very tender area, and it will soak up that soy and will just be that probably both a xenoestrogen and a phytoestrogen going right into a very sensitive area of your body. And we definitely don't want to have that for our young girls going through puberty as well. And we definitely don't want that for our men and young boys as well. Some other things you want to think about with the xenoestrogens as well is eating processed meat. Again, those meats are preserved, and the only way to preserve things is to pump things into them. So you want to make sure that you're reading your ingredients labels really well on those things as well. Bacon, lunch meat, salami, sausages, all those types of meats could also have the possibility or probability of having some xenoestrogens in them because of the pesticides that are being used to process them. And again, most of those are packaged in plastic as well. What I don't want this conversation to do is create a bunch of food phobic people out there. I want you to become food aware. And again, even changing one thing in your daily lifestyle routine can show some improvement in your overall health as far as monitoring and controlling the estrogens that we are consuming daily without even knowing that we are consuming them. So just be aware of your environment, educate yourself as much as possible, eliminate the plastics if you can, and then read your food product labels, read your daily, self-care labels and your beauty product labels. It's amazing how much soy is in our everyday use items, and switching deodorants and lotions and shampoos and skincare products. Again, I have a plant-based skincare system that I use for myself and my family members. that I absolutely swear by. It's like feeding my face confidently every day. If you guys want information about that, just let me know. I'm always willing to share those things as well. So just be mindful, be conscious of what it is you put in your environment, and eliminate as much as you can when you can. I'm not saying that I never drink out of a plastic water bottle. There are times where I just can't avoid it. And you just do what you've got to do. Making sure your body is as healthy as you can have it be when you're in those situations will definitely set you up for better metabolism of these type of things when they come in your system as well. We don't want to end up backed up on so much extra estrogen that we can no longer metabolize it and flush it out of our system. So making sure that you are fasting long and feasting well will also help your body rid itself of all these extra estrogens that could be causing you some problems with not only hormonal imbalance, but some thyroid conditions, and just setting yourself up for when you're going through this perimenopause and menopausal stage to be able to handle it a little bit better. Also, for infertility issues are being caused to a lot of these extra estrogens as well. And I know when we were having our infertility problems when I was trying to have Gabby and the baby that we unfortunately lost before we had Gabby. As soon as we changed our lifestyle and we changed our food, the infertility problems went away. So if you're suffering from infertility, maybe you're struggling with some infertility issues, consider your environment again, and consider some of the foods that you're consuming, and see if maybe you can correct what it is that's going on in your body just by getting rid of a lot of those estrogens that might be causing you to have some issues. So I'm going to go on to YouTube really quickly. I'll welcome everyone. I'll answer questions, and then Facebook Hangout. I will come to you guys next. So Marcella, hello. Good to have you with us. Danny, hello from October. She's an October grad of ours. Love having you guys with us. Darlene from Georgia, taking the February class and learning so much every day. Awesome, girlfriend. Keep learning. Kathy, can hormone imbalance cause weight gain? Hormone imbalance is the cause of weight gain. So once you get your hormones back in balance and you start feeling better, then you can really start identifying some of the things that your body's responding poorly to, and that will really help you get to the point where when you start really getting to the point where you're managing your nutrition well to lose weight, and you're exercising to have the end result of losing weight, it'll start working for you because your body's in balance. So you have to correct the imbalance of your hormones first. Patty, graduate from September. This topic is timely for me. I love when that works out. Barty, or Robin, actually from Virginia, June 2018 grad. Patty from Washington State, welcome. Doctor to doctor. I take DMI for all of that. Yeah, I just saw a bunch of information about DMI where it helps you metabolize estrogen as well. So again, if you want to take supplements, is definitely one of the things that's suggested for getting your estrogen levels back in balance. And if you don't want to take anything else in, intermittent fasting has been proven in this community and outside of this community to really be that thing that will really help you get your hormones in balance, because it does allow your body to just rid itself of all of the excess. So you can definitely do that as well. Lisa, hello. Kathy, hello. Tamara, I've had a complete hysterectomy and have maintained my weight, but notice that my eyebrows and eyelashes are starting to thin a lot. Yeah, Tamara, that's one of those aging things as well. Maybe add in some biotin into your daily supplement. That helps a lot with hair growth, and see if that helps as well. And I know I only use a biotin shampoo now, biotin and collagen shampoo and conditioner. That's helped a lot as well. And then Jennifer you're traveling from your Airstream. Oh, girlfriend, you're living my dream. Good for you. Delaney, do you get mammograms at your doctor's office? Yes, I do. I get a mammogram every year at my doctor's office for sure. And again, mammograms are those things you want to keep them on the regular because really what a mammogram is set up to do is to identify abnormalities and changes from the last mammogram. So you want to make sure that you're getting those regularly. Do I freeze things in glass? We don't freeze a lot. We only make what we're going to consume, and if we have any leftovers, it goes in the refrigerator. And we put all of that in glass now as well. Costco is a great place to get some good glass containers. We've switched to the rectangular and the square. They fit really nicely in the refrigerator. And really, you don't have to have as much glass as we did plastic because it doesn't break down. So it does last a lot longer. And then just make what you're going to consume and just don't have a lot of leftovers has really helped us a lot as well. Lisa from Nebraska in the February class, thank you so much. You're very welcome. RE soy, is it a problem for me and I don't know it? I'm feeling so much better. My dry skin spots are clearing up. Yes. So that's the thing that I say with soy is test it out. Take it out, see if you feel better, put it back in and see how you feel. If you start to lose the feel better feeling, then I would say soy might be a problem for you and I would eliminate it for sure. Doctor to doctor is Sharon. Okay, awesome. Thanks for letting me know that. And Simone from Texas, taking your course on March 2nd. Awesome, girlfriend. I can't wait to have you in class with us. And Delaney, I asked because I heard the machines are dangerous too. Okay, so yes. So x-rays are definitely those things you want to have as minimally as possible. But in my opinion, this is where we don't want to become phobic and we want to become aware. I have a history of breast cancer in my family and it has come on late in life. And so I will get my mammogram every year as scheduled. Fortunately, we're a very healthy family, so I don't have to have x-rays on the regular. And so one time a year going to get a mammogram, which could pose as something preventable. And if I were to come down with breast cancer, and people are getting breast cancer and it's knocking them off their feet because they were never expecting to ever have to deal with that in their life. I don't want that to happen to me. And so I will get a mammogram and I will take that risk because the risk for the mammogram procedure to me is less than the risk of getting breast cancer and having it found in later stages. So early prevention is low risk for me versus later stage breast cancer. And so I will get my mammogram every year as scheduled for sure. And you just take the precautionary measures for sure. Kathy, should I have my doctor do blood work to check my hormone levels? I don't think that it ever hurts. And then Delaney, gotcha. Yes, I agree. Okay, cool. Okay, let me see who's here on Facebook. I always say it's good to know your baseline numbers on your hormones for sure. When I was really feeling like I was in the depths of crazy with my perimenopause and I went to go have my hormones checked by my doctor, she was like, why would I check your hormones? You feel out of balance. They're going to come back out of balance. And so I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. And I learned that lesson when we were pregnant with Gabby, and I had to do a bunch of extra screening for a high-risk pregnancy because I was in my 40s, and genetic problems because of, you know, being a 40-year-old pregnant woman. And every test that we took that was blood work came back with Gabby being at extremely high risk of being a Down syndrome baby. Because it was a formulation of numbers that had my age factored into it. And so it scared the daylights out of us. And I was like joining all these Down syndrome support groups. And we just thought for sure the numbers were there. Like we had a 1 in 10 chance that she was going to be a Down syndrome baby, even if it was just mild. We were okay with that. Like we were grateful that we were able to have a baby, yada, yada, yada. And then she's a perfectly healthy baby. So sometimes, when you know things are out of balance, I think the best thing to do is, like, if you get a blood test back saying your hormones are out of balance, like, okay, the next thing your doctor's going to do is want to put you on hormone replacement therapy. Do you want to go that route? You have to kind of make that decision before you go in, because that's what they're going to suggest, because you're out of balance. They want to get you back in balance. I'm not on hormone replacement therapy, and I'm fine with that. Everything in my life is great. Am I... do I have saggier skin than maybe a woman who is on hormone replacement therapy? I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to take that risk because I run the risk with hormones being extra in my body of developing blood clots. And again, that's that thing where the benefits to what I would do are not better than the risks. So I can't do hormone replacement therapy. So sometimes, it's, I guess if you want to know that you're out of balance and then maybe put a plan together for yourself to get them back in balance, that would be great. But if you feel like they're out of balance, they're probably out of balance would be the best best on that one. Eileen, hello. Karen, hello. February 2019. Girlfriend, you're almost a grad. I'm so excited for you. Ingrid is here. Jean is here. Tammy, hello. Sheila, 8 and 9. Wow, very early. Yeah, it's scary to think about an 8-year-old having her menstrual cycle every month like that. Makes me sad almost. Bye, Gabby. Have fun.
Okay.
Gabby's going to a birthday party. So yeah, so we don't want to put that on them. And then, you know, there's all those other studies that show that the earlier you start your menstrual cycle, you know, the more probable you'll have, you know, health related issues down the road too. So we do want to wait as long as we can with our young girls, if we have control of it. And I think nutrition and lifestyle is the best thing that we can do for them to help make sure that when they do start going through puberty, it's at the age appropriate time and we're not making it happen any faster. Sheila, I have the water bottle you suggested. Love it. Awesome. It's the good thing. Denise, what about the Keurig and the K-Cups? We got rid of our Keurig and our K-Cups about 2 years ago for the plastic reason and the thought of having coffee pressed into a plastic cup and then hot water going through that and then preserving that coffee as well, and then all the flavors and all that kind of stuff. I would drink a cup of coffee from my Keurig and immediately fall asleep, which seemed weird because it's caffeinated. And so oh my gosh, my computer just went off here. And so we stopped using the Keurig altogether because I was afraid of the health risks for myself. And so we just eliminated it. I think I just lost my Facebook. So sorry, Facebook. So those are those things to consider. You know, now we have just a regular coffee pot that grinds the coffee beans right inside the coffee pot. I can drink a cup of coffee. I don't feel sick. We also upgraded our coffee beans as well, so that we only have the best grade coffee beans that we can find, and that has made a big difference as well. So all of those things, you know, singularly might not be a problem, but when you put together, and if you guys haven't watched my video on YouTube about when I was soy free, and I was being exposed to soy, I think it was 15 times in a day when I was soy free. Those are the things you have to think about. Like singularly, not a problem probably, but when you put together all the times in your day that you are either xenoestrogen exposed or plant estrogen exposed, and you're like, oh my gosh, my whole day has been estrogen exposed, that's when you start to get sick and backed up. So that's what we really want to be cautious about and thoughtful about, and not go through our day mindlessly, like, you know, not considering what it is that we have that we're exposed to. And then you want to factor in the thought of, yes, you also don't want to become food phobic or life phobic either. So you have to strike a balance and know that you're doing the best with what you have in your resources, right? And you don't want to become too extreme. You want to become aware, and then you implement things where you can implement them. It's really expensive to do what I call the shelf swipe, where you just completely throw everything in your cupboard away and everything in your refrigerator away and everything in your cabinets away in one day and have to replace them. That's not realistic for most people, and it's super, super expensive unless you were sick and really, really sick, like deathly sick, and you had to make some sudden changes. Then it's worth every penny. But what I suggest doing is just when you notice like you're using a lot of plastic in your house and you're at Costco or whatever, and you see, you know, the fact that you can buy some glass reusable dishes, just buy a box of them and then just get your plastic out and put your glass in. Then maybe the next month what you'll do is when you go grocery shopping and you're out of a spaghetti sauce and a tuna fish and a mayonnaise and you replace them, make sure that you are consciously seeking out those type of food products that don't have soy lecithin or soybean oil in them, and then you just slowly rotate them out and rotate in new things. In your house, do you need air fresheners in every electrical socket in your house? And what is in those air fresheners? I know now a lot of them are being made with essential oils, which I hope would eliminate some of these soybean type of things. There's soy lecithin oils that are in these air fresheners. So you're not pumping in, a bunch of soy into your daily breathing routine in your home. Carpet fresheners, some of the cleaning agents we use, all of those things need to be looked at. And when you run out, just replace them with more, environmentally friendly type of things. And what you'll notice is you will start to feel better because your body is not going to be storing those estrogens that you're consuming. If you breathe it, if you put it on, or if you take it in as food, you are consuming something. Your consumption will go down. You'll start to feel like you're hormonally balanced, especially if you're intermittent fasting, because that gives your body the opportunity to really work through some of that stuff that's stored up in our fatty tissues and stored up in our liver, and it'll start to just cleanse your body out. And before you'll know it, you'll be balanced out. You'll be not suffering from some of these hormone imbalance signs and signals. You'll start to lose weight. You'll start to sleep better. You'll be happier. All of these things just start to naturally fall into place, and you just became more aware. It's as simple as that. So hopefully this provided some good insight for you guys to start thinking about some things in your environment, thinking about some of the things that you're consuming, thinking about how it is you're plating your food when you're sitting down. You do not need to be over proteining yourself, whether it be with soy or whether it be with some animal products that also might be containing soy that you're not thinking about, a lot of dairy products as well. We can really cut back on a lot of the food that we're consuming and really just utilize what our body has already stored up. And then we can just make sure that when we feast well. So I hope this is going to give you guys some opportunity to go GTS some things, Google a little bit further, check out your water supply system in your city, see if maybe even half of your water consumption can come from a bottled source, maybe get a water delivery system coming into your home, and really try to eliminate all the exposures that you can with the means that you have available for yourself. If you haven't already done so, I would love for you to jump into our intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course. We start again on March 2nd. It really does provide an opportunity for you to do a good whole body self cleanse without having to purchase any detox kits or cleansing systems. It's a very safe approach to really figuring out how your body works and identifying some of the problem areas that you might have, and gives you an opportunity to just reset yourself in a 3-week period with an amazing community of like-minded women. And I'd love to put you in our category of intermittent fasting graduates as well. For my February students, you guys are doing fantastic. You're on your 3rd week. I highly, highly, highly recommend digging into this 3rd week. This is really where magic will start to happen to you. You'll start to put the pieces of the puzzle together and really identify some of these social and emotional things that are just keeping us stuck as women and feeling really unhappy with the choices that we know are good for us, but because of outside pressures, we might end up steering away from. And this will really help you cement what it is that you need to do for you. So thanks for jumping in with me today. If you have any questions about my upcoming course, always feel free to email me. I never have any problem answering those types of questions. For my graduates from past courses, please keep an eye on your email. I have an email coming out to you this week inviting you to our new graduates community. I'd love to have you guys in there with me as well. And fast long, feast well, and make decisions for yourselves, ladies, that will really help you look and feel your best while creating your most authentic life. And that really does end up proving to be the best way for us to live, not only healthfully, but happily as well. Have a good rest of your Monday, and I'll see